So this happened about 2 years ago during a road trip I took with my two friends, Jason and Caleb. We were all in our mid-20s and had taken a week off to just disappear into the mountains of Colorado. We weren't headed anywhere specific. The plan was to camp, hike, and just get off the grid for a while. No hotels, no real maps, just some basic supplies, tents, and a general direction. On our second night, we found what seemed like a perfect campsite. It wasn't an official campground or anything, just a clearing off a long, unmarked dirt road somewhere near Lake City. No cell service, no other people in sight, just thick forest and absolute silence. We set up camp around dusk, got a fire going, and settled in with a few beers. The kind of night you look forward to on a trip like this. But around 10 p.m., while we were just sitting and talking, Caleb stopped mid-sentence. He pointed up toward the hill that overlooked our site and said, "Is that a person?" At first, I didn't see anything, but then I noticed it, a figure. Someone was standing motionless at the top of the hill, right at the tree line. No flashlight, no visible gear, just standing watching. We all turned our lights that way, but the trees made it hard to see. By the time we locked in on the spot again, the figure was gone. We laughed it off, assuming it was probably a trick of the shadows. But honestly, none of us felt right after that. Around 2:30 in the morning, I woke up needing to pee. I grabbed my flashlight and stepped away from the tents, not going far, just enough for some privacy. While I was out there, I got this strange feeling, like I was being watched again. I slowly turned around with the light and scanned the trees. And that's when I saw him. The same figure, tall, thin, standing just behind a tree. This time, he was only about 50 feet away. He wasn't trying to hide. He wasn't doing anything. Just standing there and smiling. The worst part, his smile didn't look right. It looked wrong. Way too wide. Like he'd been standing there for a long time, just waiting for me to see him. I panicked, ran straight back to the tents, yelling for the others. We got up, grabbed our stuff, and didn't even bother packing properly. We shoved everything in the car and peeled out down that dirt road at 3 a.m. We didn't say a word until we reached a motel around sunrise. A few days later, Caleb sent us an article that made my blood run cold. A hiker's body had been found not far from where we camped, badly decomposed, probably dead for a couple of years. The article included a missing persons photo. Same guy, same building, same flannel shirt, even the same face I saw smiling in the woods. He'd been missing since 2019, and I swear to this day I saw him that night, watching us from the hill. I was driving from Utah to Oregon to visit my brother. I'd done solo road trips before, and I usually like them just me. Some music, long stretches of empty road, and time to think. It always gave me a weird kind of peace. That day, I was about 5 hours into the drive when my GPS suddenly rerouted me. There had been a major crash on the interstate up ahead, serious enough to close down both lanes. The GPS suggested a detour through a place called Devil's Pass. I paused when I saw the name. Kind of dramatic for a road, right? But it was the fastest option by almost 2 hours. So I took the exit. At first, the road wasn't so bad. A little narrow, a lot of turns, but the scenery was nice dense pine forests, mountains in the distance. But about 20 minutes in, it got rough. The pavement turned to cracked asphalt, then eventually gravel. The trees thickened to the point where sunlight barely came through. And most importantly, I hadn't seen another car since I turned off the highway. Then I realized something else. My phone had lost signal. No bars, no GPS. I figured I'd get it back once I reached higher ground. Another 10 minutes went by. Then I saw her. A woman standing on the right side of the road. She wasn't waving frantically like she needed help. It was slow, almost like a gesture, not a plea. She was barefoot, wearing a dirty, torn white dress. Her long hair was hanging over her shoulders, and her skin looked pale. Too pale. I slowed down and rolled the window down just a crack. "Are you all right?" I asked. She didn't answer, just stared at me with these unblinking white eyes. Then she whispered, "You shouldn't be here." That's it. That's all she said. Then she turned and calmly walked into the woods, disappearing between the trees. I had this sick feeling in my stomach. My instincts were screaming, but I didn't stop. I kept driving, faster. I didn't care about potholes or gravel flying up. I just wanted off that road. And then my car stalled. The engine cut out without warning. No sputter, no weird sound, just dead. The lights on my dashboard all blinked for a second, then went dark. I sat there for a moment in silence, gripping the wheel. Then I saw something in the rearview mirror. She was behind me. The same woman, same dress, same expression. She was standing in the middle of the road, about 20 feet back. But now, she wasn't standing. She was floating. Her feet weren't touching the ground. I locked the doors. My hands were shaking as I tried the ignition again and again. Nothing. Then I heard this faint sound, like humming. It was coming from right outside the window. I turned my head slowly. She was right there, face at the glass, grinning. Her mouth didn't move, but I could still hear the humming, like it was inside my head. I don't know what possessed me, but I slammed my fist against the dash and turned the key one last time. The car roared to life. I floored it, swerved around her. I didn't look back, didn't slow down. I drove nonstop until I reached a tiny gas station nearly 2 hours later, somewhere near the Oregon border. The old guy behind the counter took one look at me, sweaty, pale, eyes probably wild, and asked if I was okay. I told him everything. When I mentioned Devil's Pass, his expression changed completely. "That road's not supposed to be open," he said. "Was shut down years ago after a rock slide took out half the shoulder." I asked him about the woman. He hesitated for a second, then said, "Some say she's the ghost of a bride who died out there back in the 70s. Car accident, never found the body." He looked at me and said, "If she warned you, consider yourself lucky. Most people don't make it back to talk about her." I don't know if I believe in ghosts. I didn't not before that night. But something was out there on Devil's Pass. Something that shouldn't be. And I thank God I made it out.